Welcome, folks. Um, we're delighted you're here. Um, I see people are just now joining us. But once again, we're really very happy that you're here to get this kind of information for your work caring for dementia patients and older adults. So I would like to say who I am. First of all, we are recording this, and so you know that we will share this information afterward, and you can go back and look at things. It'll be very accessible to review anything that you hear here that you want more in depth or you want to review it, because it's a lot of information, a lot of great information. Frank Engelman is our presenter today. He's raised his hand, and he will introduce himself in a moment. We really want your feedback, so please do use the chat. And also, as we go through this in the beginning, I will be asking for your feedback, like hands raised. I'll do my best to look at that and the slides, so that's a little complicated for me. All right, so we have quite a few people joined, and I'm going to ask you, Frank, if you would, to begin by introducing yourself, if you would.
Sure. Hi, my name is Frank Engelman. I'm a retired engineer. I worked at GE Medical and Intel. And some of the projects I worked on in the last part of my employment there was on devices for older people and testing them. And that worked out good because when I retired, I got to try some of these things on my wife who had Alzheimer's and my sister-in-law who also did. And since I'm 80 myself, I get to try, I don't just write about these things, I get to try them out for long periods of time on myself here. And so I've written quite a few articles and YouTube videos. And there's links to all the things I've written at the end of this presentation. But I've gone through and set up like 5 topic areas that we could look at, and you could let us know which of these is the most important for your needs.
Thank you, Frank. So yeah, we're going to show each one of these topic headings with things listed under it, and just take a minute to glance at these, and then I'm going to ask you right now these are the 5 topics. Escaping, I mean, and they do interrelate, of course, but escaping, calming and redirecting, falls, bathroom activities, and tracking sleep and sitting too long. And now we'll go through one at a time.
Okay, let's go through the escaping here. So my wife and I, we slept in the same bed, but there'd be times I couldn't tell if she got up at night and she would try to go out the front door. So one of the things I did was, let me show you what it looked like here. Have you seen these kind of little latches that you can put up high like this? So that really helped. So then I wasn't worried that she could get out the door.
That looks pretty technically simple to do.
Oh,
Is that
yeah.
right, Frank? Okay.
It's
Okay,
very
good.
simple.
Good
It's
to know.
better than fooling around with, trying to do something down here with the door lock itself.
So that slips right into the hinge?
No, it's just up here on the door frame. You
Okay.
just screw it into the door frame and then it clips down on there. There's a link in my documents, where to get this on Amazon if you want to do that.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So another thing that you could do too is, you know how a lot of deadbolts, they have a thumb turn kind of thing to undo them from the inside. Instead, you could replace that with a key type and then put the key up high, so that, because that was another problem I had of just turn the little thumb thing to get out before I put this latch on there. So
Good.
that's uh, come on, mouse.
Yeah, that's your mouse trap.
Okay, but really what you'd like to do is not so much prevent the escape, but maybe discourage the escape. So what I did, there's things like this that you could do, and these are articles that you can click on and review. One thing I did is for guiding to the bathroom or saying don't go out the front door is what this first one is here. So this is, hopefully this comes through okay for you. I'm going to make it
Okay,
bigger.
what I'm doing here is, let's say your loved one gets up at night and wanders to the front door. I've got a speaker on the wall here that will play them a message. There's a motion sensor up there in the door. See, way up there out of the way. And if they get too close,
Still time for sleeping. You should go back to bed.
okay, red light, telling me to go to bed. I guess I will.
So Frank, so
Yeah.
that's a gizmo that will redirect them verbally.
Yes, and visually, like a
And,
red light. Now
and
you can buy motion sensor things that you can put at the door that make an alarm sound, or some of them would, you can even record a message. But the problem is, what I found is that they're typically on all the time. And so even when you go there, it's going to be alerting you. So with this solution that I've got, it's time of day. So when you go to bed, it's active. I have another one. I'm not going to take a lot of time with this, but it's in these links that'll have bathroom guidance lights. And so that would be green when you're going to the bathroom door.
great. So the caregiver would know perhaps that the care receiver has received this alert, like you would get that information, the
Yes,
caregiver?
but you can get it as a text on your phone, and you can even have it turn on the light in your room if you want that.
Wow, okay, that's fantastic. So, you're going into such good depth with these. I think we should just go through them all and then ask people to put in chat, what do they
Okay.
really need? Yeah, so,
Okay, so the
Right.
next thing about the tracking is another thing. Now there's several ways of tracking. One is to know if your loved one got out of the perimeter, like just out the door, or find them, if they escape that far. So if you go into this link, you'll see it gets quite detailed here. We go through different kinds. There's not a single solution for everyone. So if you look through the different scenarios here, it depends what their state is, and so we have several recommendations of what to do based on their needs. And I have this personal story of my sister-in-law who would not wear anything, no watch, no pendant, no clip-on. And so I worked with my brother to make this very thin Bluetooth device that he could clip on her shirt when she wasn't looking, on the back of her shirt. And so it would let him know on his phone when she went outside the perimeter.
Frank, I noticed in your slides that you are able to show different levels of need, like the
Yes,
person who's pretty mobile, the person who's less mobile, the person who's very confused, sort of
yeah.
persona 1, 2, 3. It's very well organized. I just wanted to mention that.
So that was the escaping overview. And let's go through the next one, is this calming thing. Now, here's a strange one I got to tell you. So my aunt is 97, and her eyesight is really bad. And the doctors say, well, we can't do anything for you. And she loves to read. So there it is. Okay. You know, she has this light. If you see this floor light next to her, now that's not going to work really good for reading. So you see this one on the stand over her head here? That allowed her to read like a glossy magazine, like a National Geographic's. She got tested by the doctor, and he said, well, you know, it depends on the light color and the angle it's at and all that, which you cannot do with a side light like this. So I recommended this kind of a light over her head. In fact, I use one myself here for my use. See? Okay, so that's a really simple thing. It's not high tech, but she also has Alexa, and so she can say, turn on that light or turn it off.
You know, Frank, it may not be a high tech, but it's a big deal.
Yeah,
Because if you like to read and your eyesight is most likely going to be impaired little by little,
yeah,
that's a huge, I already could attest to that.
yeah. So the other thing I have here is there's ways that you can schedule music for them, so you don't have to be involved at always controlling it. If you set up an Alexa system, which you can do that. And all these things, these details, I go through and I tell you how to set it up. So you know, it's not just a thing that you could do. I show you how to do it. Oops. The TV control. Let's say they have a lot of trouble with the TV. Using a remote can be tough, even if it's pretty smart one like this. You might want to get a big button kind of remote, not just channel up and channel down, not that kind of thing, but go to my show. So let me show you how that works. There's a little video here. At first it's kind of dark, I'm sorry, but
Today I'm going to be showing you a way to make it easier for
this is
your
a
loved
Fire
one
TV, if you don't know
to
what
control their Fire TV. Now I'm going to say Alex A instead of her real name so that it doesn't set off any of your devices. But let's say your loved one has the smart remote like this. This could be a little bit confusing. So what I'm going to show you instead, I'm going to turn this off and show you some buttons. This one is from Broadlink. It's a good size. And I programmed some LXA routines here to bring the setup and go to a certain show. So let's watch this. Push the button, I get a nice click, a little light, telling me what's going to do. And there it comes up. And resumes. That should go away in a second there. There it does.
Okay, so you get the idea that I'm not going to show you the other buttons, but so that can make it easier for them to use and not always calling you over to do it. I have a dementia clock, of course, which you can buy those. I just show how to do one from an old iPad. Here's something that might be kind of interesting here. Let's say they wake up in the middle of the night and they want to know what time is it? Is it time, you know? And they might hear 3 a.m. is 3 p.m. So here's a way to kind of make it more clear.
What I want to show today is a simple use case for an Alexa skill called My Clock. It's for loved ones with dementia or memory loss who have trouble understanding the difference between AM and PM. Now for my demo, it happens to be 11:53 AM. So let's just keep that in mind. Alexa, My Clock.
Good morning, Grandpa. It's 11:53 a.m.
As you can see, nice big display. It's morning and my nickname. Now I'm going to switch it to the nighttime view, which I'll have to fake because it's really 11:53 a.m. Okay, I've set his bedtime to a fake time. He doesn't get up until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So let's try it. Alexa, my clock.
Oh, it's still time for sleeping. Grandpa, it's 11:55 a.m. You still have 2 hours and 5 minutes left to sleep.
So this time he gets a message that's telling him how much time is left to sleep. The setup instructions are shown on another.
Okay, just wanted you to see that one. That's, and also have similar things like if they're um, sorry about the jumping, repeated questions where, you know, I have some examples where say they want to know when is lunch, instead of knowing it's at 12 o'clock, you can say that it'll be in an hour and 20 minutes. So whenever they ask her, she'll respond back in a time before lunch, let's say. I have other articles here on how to, if they get worried when you leave the house to go shopping and they want a way to contact you and they can't use a phone, there's a button that they can wear that if they push that, it'll send you a text. And then you can either come right home or you can, if they can still answer the phone, you can call them. So that's some of the calming kind of ideas I have here.
Yeah, these are great ideas, and it's clear how to go back and get more information. So that's fantastic. Let's go on to number 3, fall detection.
Okay, now category of needs on this is big. So let me show you how we've gone through and done this. So this is the personas again here. So what's your level of need? What's their level of need, I should say. You know, if a person's still alert and that kind of thing, but they're just having a little bit of problems they need some oversight. They can't go anywhere, you know, you're really worried even if they get out of bed, right? And so look through all these categories and then go through and recommend what kind of device they should have, and through things like will they wear something, you know, either a pendant or a watch, or if not, maybe a monitor on the wall that can detect a fall. There are those devices. And if this all gets too detailed for you, you can go through this, well, just kind of tell me what to buy, you know. And so you can see um, this group, the Tech Enhanced Life has done a lot of testing, as you can see. They went through and got all these devices and tried them and made some recommendations. So I write a column for this group, and you can see they've done a lot of work here on this. So there's not just one type for everybody. So let's see what else I got here. Oh yeah, with the hands-on review there, I went through that a little. And here's the and here's the ones that you can mount on the wall. So if they won't wear anything and you just want a fall detection in the bathroom or the bedroom, these are the kind of devices that work. But of course, they're in home only because they're mounted on the wall.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that people will have more questions about this one. So if you all do, we'll come back. But there's a lot you can look up embedded in these slides. It's a lot, but the technology is really amazing now. You can really know when your loved one has fallen, even if you're not right there.
Yeah, and one of the easiest ones is the Apple Watch. If they'll wear that, my aunt wears a pendant around her neck. A lot of people won't accept that, but she had several falls, so she wears it. So let's see. Oh, the other thing is Smart bathroom, I got one of my readers had this problem. Her mom lived with her, and her mom would tend to not flush the toilet. And so she would have to keep track. And she couldn't be in there with her. It would be embarrassing. So she would have to listen and to tell when her mother was done and then run there and check it and all that. So I go through a few ways to either retrofit easily an auto flush for the toilet, or a way if once they flush it, to have a spoken voice there to say, don't forget to wash your hands. That's another issue. This is a little video of this stuff going on here.
As I walk into the bathroom, motion sensor lights will turn on.
Hi, Grandpa. Today is Wednesday, May 5th. It's 12:45 p.m.
And I stand in front of
The toilet will flush itself when you are done.
stand in front of the toilet for a certain amount of time, or sit on it. And when I leave, it starts auto flush. This is just on a time basis. It actually doesn't detect the flush. So you would have to adjust the time of what you feel is appropriate for the next part of this, which
Don't
is
forget to wash your hands.
telling
Just
you.
place your hands under the faucet to turn on the water. Place your hands under the soap dispenser.
I got some soap. You could add more things, saying, rinse your hands and dry your hands and all that. Again, you'll have to adjust the time, what's appropriate for you or your loved.
Okay, so I've improved that a bit. I can now detect when it's flushed. So you don't have to set a time, guess at the time it would take there. I've got things that can detect if the toilet keeps running, if you've got a problem there, the flapper's not working or the valve gets stuck. And I think this is the last one I want to show you. So sometimes it's hard to know like when the shower is ready for you, and did you if you don't have the kind that just has an on-off valve for the water, if you left the handle at the right place. So let me show you a little thing I did here.
Okay, I've automated this shower. You notice the valve that you would usually use, the handle you use to control the temperatures in an on position at a nice temperature that I like. I've got a temperature indicating shower head here that I'll turn on in a moment. And I've also added a battery operated water valve there, and how that works. You push this little green button for go and red for stop. Now I'll show you how it works. So I push the green. You notice the light there is blue, that means it's cold. There's 3 other levels. Green means just right, and red is too hot. Now it takes a while for my shower to get warmed up here. So I'm going to pause this while it warms up. But the idea of this is you set the shower handle to the temperature that you like, which means you don't have to fiddle with it each time you get in. And again, just green for go, red for stop. Either buttons work. Oh, it just turned green here. Look at that. So that means it's ready to go.
Okay. And the last one I had here was one of my favorites. Is I spent way too much time on the couch. This is my couch potato detector here.
What I'm showing here today is what I call a couch potato sensor. Say you or your loved one sits too long on the couch and you'd like a reminder to get up once in a while and stretch. What I've done is taken a wheelchair pad here that's used in nursing homes to detect when a person gets out of the chair, connected it to a wireless sensor here. It's really a Yolink water leak sensor that I'm using. And over here, I have the receiver for it. So what happens is when you or your loved one sits on the chair, the signal will go over to the receiver here and it'll start a timer. And at a time that you pick, say in my case, I make it 60 minutes, I'll then get a spoken notification to stand and stretch. So that should help them, encourage them to get up. Now what I want to show you is, let's say they're hard of hearing. I want to show you a couple of lights that you could add here to make it more encouraging. The first is just a simple light here plugged into a smart outlet, and it's kind of a unique light, so they'll see it as pretty bright, and that should get their attention. That could turn on after your timeout, let's say after 60 minutes. The second one I want to show you is more fun. It's a little couch potato light that I found, a novelty light. And of course it takes a transformer to power it, again plugged into a smart plug. So I'll be showing you a video with this in action next here, but I just want to show you the equipment setup first. So again, a receiver with the couch pad, sensor with the couch pad, receiver there to speak to you, and some kind of light to get their attention. And when they get up, it resets, so you don't have to worry about that. In the equipment part of this video, I've shown all the equipment used. I'm going to now sit on the chair pad. I've made the times much shorter. It typically would be 60 minutes. I've just made it like 30 seconds, I believe. Let's see what happens. So I sit down here. That little beep is just for my testing purposes. You don't need that. And anything that's spoken here could be changed. You could change whatever you'd like it to say, or how often you want it to say it. And again, there's a sensor here attached to the pad. This is the receiver. The timer has started. And then it'll speak to me when it's time to get up. And also,
it's time for a stretch.
so, speaks to me. You could,
It's time for a stretch.
you could repeat it. And then,
Okay, so you get that. I actually use that every day.
You do use that every day?
Oh,
Frank?
yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I have a suggestion. Maybe you've done this already, but if every hour, instead of it just talking to you, it's time to stretch, it turned on some music that made you want to stand up.
There you go. Sure. All those things are possible. Yep. Sure. Exercise time. I think that's the last slide, except for, yeah, here's all the contact stuff. So I write a column for this Tech Enhanced Life. This is my YouTube channel. Here's my blog where I do all this current articles. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. If you want, I'd like you to use these, because if you ask a question there, then other people can see that and the answer. But if you just hate doing that, you can email me at either of these.
Wow.
I think that's all I have, unless you want to go through some details.
I would really like folks to let us know what they would like to know in more detail, or what's really hard for them. I mean, I think it isn't always obvious how to use these things. And when people start to share their situations, things get clearer for everyone. So I really encourage folks to jump in now and put something in the chat or raise your hand or just turn your unmute off and jump in. So there was one chat and we took a look at that, and come on y'all, let's hear what you're dealing with if you want. That's why we're here.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yay! All right. Well, first off, I want to say thank you so much for putting this on. As someone that, loves technology, been around it since I was a kid, I was like, oh, this is going to be an amazing thing. I wanted to also add Philips Hue lights.
Mhm.
I don't know if that was talked about here. I just got in maybe a couple of minutes ago, but my mom, something happened to her, and now I need to think about how to remind her to eat better foods, for her health. So now this has me thinking like, oh, I can change the Philip Hue lights to a certain color so she can remember like, oh yeah, I need to eat like something that's going to be better than the holiday food that she's indulging in. So yeah, this actually gave
That's
me some good
good. Yeah.
ideas. And I also didn't know about the pressure sensor. I'm like, oh, that would actually be dope to get her to start, exercising more. So shoot, even myself. So I'm like, this is really good. So yeah, I just want to say thank you for putting this on. Gave me some really good ideas. And lastly, can you go back to the other slide? I know that you said that you have a YouTube page and there's like a list of
Sure.
resources. That'd be awesome. Go ahead and screenshot that.
Yeah, let me go down to that. Oops. There we go.
All right. All right, awesome. Well, I got a screenshot of that, but yeah, I yield the mic, but either way, thank you so much.
We will have this recording available on our newsletter, along with all this information that's going to be sort of written out, at least some of it for you. So you can get this. Let us know if you missed something. Just go back and let Daybreak know, let me know. If before we go, I'll give you my phone number, where you can text me. Okay. Okay. Onward and upward. More questions, I hope. Would love to hear from you if you'd like to sort of share where you're at.
There's a couple of comments in the chat if you want to look at that.
Great. Please do, Frank.
Oh yeah, the light bulb nanny cam. Yeah, cameras are are a funny thing because people really, some people really resent that. My aunt loves them. She has them even inside her house, and her son can check on her, and she has no problem with it. But some people don't like that. So if you were using it to check on whether they're moving around, there's ways that you can do that kind of thing with motion sensors. Right now, what I have for my son here, as I say, I test a lot of this stuff. I actually don't need some of it yet, but like at 5:30, a light will go on my son's room if that says, okay, it's checking to see if I got up. And then what happens is turns yellow, let's say, which means it's checking. And then when I go into leave the bedroom and go into the living room area, a motion sensor there will turn his light green. So he'll know that I'm up and about. So that's kind of one thing that you could do if they don't like camera. Oh, someone would like to know more about falls. Okay, should we jump into that one? Let's go back to that one.
Great.
Okay, so were you looking for the ones that you don't wear or are you looking for a review of the different ones out there? If you look at this article, we went through a lot of the watches, and there's even apps that work with the watch that are kind of interesting, because one of the problems with the Apple Watch and the fall detect, it's been this way for since they've done it, is it'll, if you fall, it'll give you a chance to say, no, I'm okay, and not call the emergency services. But if you don't do that, it won't go out to your contacts first. It'll go out to 911 first. So a lot of people don't like that. That's one thing to think about this. So there's this software that you can add on there. Instead, it'll pass the alert off to your kids. A lot of different ones that we looked at, which you can look at the reviews here. Depends if they'll wear it or not, and you just need it inside the house, like in the bathroom. There's a couple that I mentioned there that you could use. Let's see, what else? Was there any other question about that? I mean, the main thing is to look through this category of needs first and decide what state they're in to give you a better handle on how to choose the right device.
One of the things you didn't yet mention, Frank, is some of them, when you press the button, it goes to a dispatcher.
Yeah, some of them do that. Yeah.
Right. So it doesn't necessarily go to 911.
Right.
Yeah.
But the
And
Apple Watch does. I got to tell you, that's a huge complaint of mine. I don't want that going on. But
those kinds of differences in the way these work are really make a big deal for folks when they select one.
yeah,
So if you are confused, which it's a lot of detail, please feel free to let us know at daybreak, and we'll walk through it with you so that you have some help with that.
yeah. Oh, I was gonna mention for the person who mentioned the Philips lights. Yeah, but I use those a lot. In fact, one of the things you might look into is there's a way to set a daybreak mode. So instead of just turning on the lights in the morning, full bright or whatever, they can gradually come up. It's like the sun coming up, which could ease your loved one out of bed. How much does something like this cost? Okay, so you'll have to let me know which item you're talking about. Let's say you're talking about the bathroom thing, like the auto flush. If you were to do that and you bought some toilet that had that, that's very expensive, and the plumber and all that. And in the shower, if you had that, if you had some built into the wall kind of shower with a temperature gauge and all that, that's very expensive. Instead, what I do is a retrofit kind of things, like things that cost like $150. Like the shower valve is like that, or the toilet flusher is like that, or some are even cheaper. So I'm into low cost kind of solutions.
Yeah, great. Yeah, cost is a huge issue, of course. One of Lisa says auto shut off with a stove that
I
is
see
not
that one. Yeah.
expensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I've
got
got
any-
some ideas on that. Yeah, there's some that are that are pretty expensive, like the $500 ones, and some that work only with electric. Um, there's my brother had this problem where his wife would leave a pan on the stove at night, and one of the least expensive ones I've seen that runs about $150 is it listens for your smoke detector. And if that goes off, it cuts off electric or gas. There's a couple of models. The gas one is hard to install, though. In fact, you want to have maybe a professional do it, since you're playing with the gas line. But the electric one is pretty simple. I've seen some of the electric ones that are like $500 that looks like a timer you have there to do it. And
So Frank, your solution for an electric stove costs how much? Did you say it was?
about
Quarter-
$150. I didn't put the link in here, but it's on the Tech Enhanced website. In fact, I guess I could go there if you want to see what it looks like.
I will definitely make a point of putting it in the write-up I do for.
Okay, yeah, that's probably better because I might
Yeah.
mess things up here if I try to jump
I mean,
around too
I want
much.
to say that preventing fires is a huge deal
Yeah,
along with falls. And, people getting lost is very scary, but, setting your house on fire is a
yeah.
very big deal.
Yeah,
And
so I agree. The stove is is a really important one.
right.
There are devices now that'll let you know you've left the stove on for a long time. That kind of thing. There's these special knobs. I didn't include everything here, but
Mhm.
there's special knobs that'll keep track of it. There's even one that'll turn it back off, if you can believe that or not. That you can retrofit to existing stove. But one of the funny things about smoke alarms is I had this reader say, well, I tend to double toast my toast and it sets off the smoke alarm. I get so mad, I got to get a broomstick and I'm using a towel and all this. Well, I found a smoke alarm that has a remote control, if you can believe it, that you stick that on a wall in a handy location and it can silence it. It doesn't stop the fire, the smoke or anything, but it stops this annoying noise if you do this a lot and it's not really a fire. So
So,
there's an article on that on Tech Enhanced Life. There's a
okay.
lot of other things too I haven't included, like an easy way to adjust the temperature if you have a problem for your HVAC. It's just a simple dial up and down. There's not all these multitude of buttons or even touch screens. It's just a big dial up and down, hotter or colder.
I want to remind folks that we will definitely send access to these slides. And I think we'll try to just send that to everybody who enrolled. If Lawada can help me with that, she's our tech genius. Yeah, because it'll be very helpful for you to be able to go back through this easily. But you can also get it from our newsletter, which will come out next Wednesday. Yeah, more questions. We still have some time, and we still have Frank.
I'll leave it on that.
We have a comment about electric stoves, and I think people are moving towards electric stoves for safety purposes.
Yeah, they're much easier to control from a safety perspective.
Great. So we can get in touch with you, Frank, if we need, but you have specific ways for folks to ask you questions that you can really fold into
Right.
your educating folks in general. So that's
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
So let me make this clear. I'm not a business. I'm not charging anything for this. So you can just ask questions. I love sharing this that I've learned with others. So you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, I definitely got that impression. Every time I email Frank, he's like right back to me. You're just really, I'm so grateful that you were willing to do this. I have now put in the chat my name and the phone number where you can text me. Okay. So, with Lawada's unbelievable, brilliant help, I'll be able to save the chat.
Oh, someone wanted to know about the control section for the TV. Okay, so how this works is I don't know if you're familiar with a Fire TV that's has this kind of remote where you can speak to it. So if you just had this remote, you can easily either speak out loud to the Fire TV or push this little speak button here and say, watch Longmire on Netflix. So you can just say what you want if that show is available to you, or watch House of Cards or whatever you want to do, and it'll go back to where you left off. So what I did is explain how to, if the person is not able to do that, to use a simple button that will, in effect, speak that command to the Fire TV for them. So that's what that button did. It ran what's called an Alexa routine. And what I do is I give you samples of those. If you have an Alexa app set up on your phone, you click on this and it'll put that routine on your phone. So then it will do that. So that's how you can do those kind of buttons. There's many different kinds of buttons, from those 4-in-1 to these large hockey puck kind, to some of the remotes even have the buttons on them that you can program, like 1 or 2 buttons. I have a bigger thing. If I step up for a second here. This kind where I made put some flick buttons in here that you could push for a whole bunch of different shows if you wanted them, or to turn on lights or put cameras up on your Fire TV. So what I recommend is Alexa kind of stuff, and also some Apple stuff with Siri. One of the things that I do is when I go out for a walk, my son likes to know that I made it back on time, if he's not right here. So there's some Apple apps out there that'll detect when that you didn't make it home on time, that you left, but you didn't make it home on time. So then they'll get a notification and then can actually see where I am, getting that information from my phone or watch. So there's a lot of other things I haven't talked about here.
So if you can imagine something, then there probably is somebody who's figured it out. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I just don't know how to handle all the emotional problems you go through, because the mood changes. There's technology can help some, but if you're a caregiver, you've got a tough job. I know my sister did it for my mom and my brother for his wife, and it's not easy. These things can help a little, but there's still the mood swings is the worst.
And Frank, to have ways to deal with the really frightening things, like getting lost, like falling, like
Yeah.
fires, those are really big deals. And there is
Yeah.
technology. So we really appreciate that you've done this work and you make yourself available to share it.
Sure. Let me tell you a simple one. If you go through the Tech Enhanced Life site, they've done reviews of medication dispensers, and there's some great ones out here. Rather than the little pill boxes that you put the stuff in, they'll dispense them at the right time of day. I don't need anything like that yet, but for me, I got to remember to take. I have several different kinds of vitamins and stuff that I take, and so I have a simple light that comes on when it's time for morning, noon, or evening pills. They're not prescription pills. But if I don't want something to just talk to me and say, well, it's time for your pills. Well, I don't want to do it right now, and I don't. But if I see that light and I walked away and I come back and say, oh, I got to go do that. And then I can push a button, it turns the light off. And so I know I'm good. So for simple things like that, it helps.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I'm very appreciative, and I get from people's feedback that it's very useful. I will do my best to write this up and send it to you, Frank, for your approval before we publish it next week, okay?
Okay, great.
Anybody else have anything they want to share or ask? This has been great. Thank you so much, Frank.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye.